Welcome to the monthly crypto stocks update. I know I haven't been here for a couple of weeks because I've been dealing with some things personally. Spiritual warfare, let me tell you, is a real deal thing. Do not get caught up in those people, mystic, magical people telling you you can flip money in 2 weeks, 2 months. You put this here, you're going to get this back. It's not realistic. It is demonic, actually. And that might get you in a lot of trouble because I'm seeing it firsthand. The true power of God. The things that he tells us to abstain from, I'm really seeing how it can really destroy somebody's life. In order for you to not get caught up in that, you can't idolize money. You can't treat money as this goddess, this god. You got to look at it as a tool to get food, to do what you got to do, pay your bills, to get by and build some wealth, of course. But don't look at it as this thing that you need to worship, because it's just something that was created by man. God is the only thing that actually needs to be worshipped, because if you look at the earth, all the things that we have, the minerals, the natural minerals, the trees that we breathe, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, the way the laws are set up naturally is just fascinating to the point where you cannot deny. And you're going to sit here, tell me science, oh, is the one that came with this. No, someone actually calculated all this, came up with these equations in order for this to actually work. Where the earth sits between the sun, the moon, it sits perfectly where it should be. Earth sits in the perfect spot where if we got a little further away from the sun, we would have freeze to death. If we got a little closer to the sun, we would have burned to death. That's very unexplainable now with just science. Now science unpacks all that, find a formulaic version of it to explain it in a way that makes sense. But the true mathematician, scientist is God, Jesus Christ himself. I encourage you to not get caught up in those things that or trying to suck your money, because what's going to happen is they'll suck your money and you'll see that you had no returns. Rather than investing in things that are actually the natural, the proper way, like we do. That's why I encourage people to invest and build wealth. Like, just because you're a follower of Jesus Christ doesn't mean that you think money is completely evil. No, you just got to utilize it in the right way. So those things I've been dealing with personally with someone, and I can tell you that spiritual warfare is a real thing. People acting crazy with schizophrenia and all these things. It's not always a physical thing where they can just take medications and it disappears. Let me tell you, there's demons involved, there's spirits involved, and it takes time. It takes some work, but it can definitely happen to help someone overcome that healing. Let's dive into it. So the SP 500, we are up high. Dow is up high. Nasdaq is up high. Like, they all at like pretty much all-time highs. If we look at Dow, put it at max, like it's super high. Like, it's crazy. I'm not seeing that reflection inside of my portfolios. I mean, I'm not in the negative for sure, but I'm not seeing like super all-time highs. And I strongly believe that I'm going to take things that I'm seeking for the long-term growth. So the things that are kind of low right now in the 5-year, 2, 3, 4, 5-year term is when I'm really going to see their impact on growth. And it may happen sooner with an election year happening. There's a lot of things that can shift, but I'm staying in the ones that I feel are lower, buying more of them where I can. So when it really grows, it grows at a massive scale, because a lot of these that's making this go up is partially due to inflation, printing of money, and making some of these like bonds that are valued at XY to go even higher. So don't panic, don't overreact, be patient with all this stuff. I'm not some magician that's going to tell you this is going to flip in 2 months, in 2 years. Anybody that's claiming that is false. And I'm exposing these people right now for who you are. You should be ashamed of yourself for lying people, trying to use demonic spirits to lie to people, manipulate them in a way that's just not right. PBR is that dividend high payout stock that I always encourage. And right now the dividend is at 10%. It was previously at like 18%. So it definitely went down, but it's all good. I'm holding on to it and seeing how things go. And then the only other one that I actually know about here is Lumen, because I actually spoke to them, trying to potentially do business with them when it comes to my services that I provide to companies. Grayscale, where we at? Look at that. DFG is very volatile. I don't touch that. And then Grayscale Solana, I haven't touched that, but it did pretty well. Like, year to date, it pretty much 2.5, right? From, well, 3.5 if you think about it, from your original investment, almost 3 times that it made. Grayscale futures, I don't touch. LivePeer, I actually own LivePeer crypto. About $500 I think I bought, and now it's valued at $1,200. And they also been paying me what they call staking. So it's like dividends, and you get it every week, every 2 weeks, or whatever that the crypto is actually doing. Large digital cap I own. Bitcoin Cash Trust. Grayscale Bitcoin Cash Trust I own. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust I own. Litecoin Trust and Ethereum Classic and Ethereum I own. So I own pretty much all 6 of these right here that we're looking at for Grayscale. Then the actual stocks I own is Litecoin, Ethereum, and Ethereum Classic. I do have a good chunk of those sitting around, and when they shoot up, I'm gonna be sitting nice completely. So let's look at our $1,000 portfolio. We are up 13%, which is great. We're over inflation, which at its peak of this year was at like 7.5 or last year. So we are over that, which is good. So you can sell now and feel good about yourself. But I don't recommend it because you're going to be paying short-term capital gains tax, which is going to be at the highest tax bracket of like 30, 35%. Whatever your tax bracket is, you're going to be paying at that rate. Versus if you wait a year, you could actually be paying 0, 10%, 15%, or 20% of capital gains tax on the profit. So you want to be very careful on trying to not panic just because you see a little bit of gains. Be like, I made some money. No, you're going to have to go right back in. So unless you have like a good investment you're going to pour this money into, I suggest holding and buying more. If you have the cash, you just buy more. And this is also something that's going to force you to save and build your wealth. So the first 3 here, ETCG, LTCN, and BCHD, all Grayscale. We see we're all green. Great. We're killing it right now. VRAR is more long-term. Virtual reality, I don't think is a super high adoption right now. I mean, we see with the Apple Vision Pro, people are actually consuming it, but it's not at a point where it's like everybody got to have it, and it's such a super high demand. But in the long term, I do believe they're going to kick butt. Beyond Meat, again, I'm vegan, so that's why I hold on to them. Law has some pretty cool technology to help lawyers actually like allocate information from court documents, past court cases quicker, faster, using AI, which is pretty cool. Rivian, I've seen more of them on the road, which is what really interested me to look further into it. I really think that they're gonna pop, but it's gonna take time. It's just they went through some like credit issues, and then Amazon were using them for their like those delivery trucks that you've seen. A lot of them were Rivian. I don't know what they're using now, but Rivian had a strong partnership with Amazon, which was broken off, I believe, last year. And then Xpeng, I'm looking forward to their future flying cars. So that's like a 10-year investment. But they are still in the EV space doing electric vehicles, cars. And then Jemiah, we're up, right? So we're up $70. So original investment was for $90. So we're up 70% on Jemiah, which is good. And then Nikola, yes, we're down quite a bit. But it's all right. It's all right. Give it some time. It's going to happen. All the EVs getting battered right now. We'll come back. And lastly, you got Lab in the biotech space. I strongly believe they're going to kick butt. But it takes something to happen, right? Biotech related. Like when COVID came, they were shooting up high. They didn't go up like NVAX did, because NVAX was actually doing the vaccine, but they did go up because potentially they were going to be involved in providing the testing, which at one point I thought it was going to be crazy, but it didn't go up like as high as I anticipated. That's where we're at with that. So let's jump to our $10,000 portfolio. We are up 15%. So they're close, 15% versus 13%. They're about the same. So where are we at with all this? So the top 5 here, you got ITYAX, which is a ETF, and then ARGFX, which is a mutual fund. Difference between that, ETFs, you can see the price go up and down throughout the day, but mutual funds, they settle at the end of the day. So 4 o'clock, you'll see the price, and that's it. So what I typically do is, if I see the market is going down throughout the day, most likely that mutual fund is going to go down. I'll buy it at a discount. And then once I made enough profits, I'll wait for a day that the market's still going up. Then I'll sell right then so I can kill the profits on that time. So that's the trick I use. But again, you should be just holding on to these for a long time unless you got like a good investment you're about to take this money and pour it into. If not, don't touch it. Please don't. GDLC, LTCN, BCHD, and GBTC, all Grayscale stocks. We're green on all of them. We're killing it so far. They're not as high as they were, but they're still pretty good. Nikola, we know we're being battered. Lab, we spoke about. Neo Workhorse. Both of those are in the EV space, so when the EV space comes up, you'll see these gradually come up as well. T-Doc. That one really caught my attention a lot more. I didn't buy more of these, and we bought all these stocks back in December. If you didn't see that video, it's available on my channel. It's the December monthly stocks crypto update. But with telehealth, I'm really seeing the impact that it has on the economy right now. A lot of people are facing mental health issues, and I didn't know until I got into this like spiritual warfare and trying to find available therapists, and they're all booked out like weeks, months. It's hard to get them, so they could potentially like charge whatever they want because they're in such demand, and that's how you got to look at certain markets. I'm not seeing the impact happen to T-Doc right now, right away, but it is available on some platforms for people to actually use. Go to Intel, educational, based in China, tech companies that was providing like after school programs to children, and then the Chinese government said, no, we're not allowing certain things to be paid for, so therefore you have to go to a slightly free model, and that's what made their stock price like tank a whole lot. But I think they're going to come back up. They just got to find a different avenue to bring the same amount of billions in revenue that they were bringing once before. Star, really like more like a gamble stock. Like we just threw some money in it, see what happens. Paymentus is something actually that I think in the long term they're going to continue to grow. Because one thing I like to buy companies I see that will continue to grow. Their business will evolve because they're a payment provider for companies that needs payroll, any type of like payment transactions that need to happen between like companies, employees. They are able to provide all that. So I think it's good for like small businesses to leverage. Now we're jumping into our crypto. We got Matic, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, Doge, and Shiba Inu. We're up mostly entirely on everything, but we're not up like super high. We're gonna get there once crypto like go crazy. I think once Bitcoin hit like 100-something thousand, we're gonna see the rally go crazy, shoot up, and it might happen during an election or it might happen after the election. Who knows? Nobody really knows. And then you got Near. The last two, again, you might not be able to purchase these in your state. Whatever is not available in your state, I would suggest like you substitute and purchase whatever else that was available in this list elsewhere. Not giving financial advice, of course. This is all for entertainment purposes. I'm just sharing something that I see works for me, and hopefully it worked for you. I created these two portfolios live, and as you can see, they went through their ups and downs. We're down at one point like 10%, and now we're up 15%. So you got to be able to sustain the rise. But I'm just trying to educate you in terms of how you can build these yourself. You don't have to rely on a financial advisor. You can actually purchase these yourself to build a portfolio that would potentially work for you. You got to do your research. I'm just sharing the ways that I think and look at some of these stocks and analyze them to figure out which one I'm going to dive into and further. I really hope you found all this insightful. This is all the updates I have for you right now. Again, don't be greedy when it comes to money investing and building wealth. Do not idolize this stuff, because if you do, you might end up at a state where it could potentially destroy you, as I'm seeing it happen to someone. And it's real. Like, spiritual warfare is real. Don't fall into these fake witchcraft witches that are online trying to sell you, oh, if you send $5, $10 here, we'll play these numbers for you and you're going to get these rewards. Or if you send $10,000 here, you'll get back 20 in a couple of weeks. That, like, how realistic is that? That's just doesn't make any sense. Like, real wealth, you pour money somewhere, it brings a value, whether it's a business or an asset. It grows, then you can sell that asset, then you can make more money back from top of that. But that's just how real wealth works. Like, anything else after that that's trying to tap into the spiritual for that is all fake and demonic. That's why you got to really stay strong by your faith. So like, share, subscribe. Of course, it really helps this video get to others that may need to hear this. From the investment side, they need to learn, but also understanding to not get themselves involved in spiritual money mingling and all that stuff, because it might really destroy their lives. They get manipulated in a way that they're going to lose money instead of actually be gaining things. So peace and love. Trust in Jesus. Have an amazing one. Hustle, 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 step.